Hey everybody, so today I wanted to bring you guys along and show you how I pack and ship out my orders. Today I have 2 Depop orders that I need to ship out. So I thought I would walk you through the whole process from like packaging to shipping to doing my accounting. I sell on Depop and Poshmark, but today we only have Depop orders. So the process is pretty much exactly the same, but I will mention the differences when we get to that point. So the first thing I need to do is open up my receipt section on Depop to see which items have sold and therefore which items I need to go grab. So the first order that I sold is a bundle, and it includes this cloud patchwork bucket hat that I handmade and this Love the Library pin. And then the second order is this needlepoint kitty denim jacket that I reworked. So first things first, let's grab the items. Okay, so there are a few different places that I store my inventory, but the first being this closet. As you can probably tell, it's a little bit messy, but this is basically where I store probably most of my inventory. A lot of the jackets are hung up, and then the rest of the clothes just fit into these little plastic bins or on the shelf that's back there. I also store a lot of my packing supplies, so all of like my boxes and little mailers and stuff. Most of them are actually recycled from just like orders that we have had shipped to our house, so I like to reuse packaging as much as I possibly can. So there is one item that we need to retrieve from this closet, so I'm gonna go grab that right now. And it's actually this pin right here. I keep all of like my little accessory stuff in this little box just to keep everything nice and organized. The second place that I store most of my items is under my bed. So I have 2 of these roll out under the bed storage containers. And yeah, as my inventory grew, the clothes like no longer fit in my closet. So I thought this was a good solution. And honestly, it's a lot easier to get to the clothes than like rummaging through the closet. So this worked out really well. If you have space under your bed, I would highly recommend this. But because those last 2 items that I need to grab are handmade, I actually don't keep them in storage. I usually like to keep them on display until they sell. Okay, so my bucket hat, I was kind of just storing here with my other hats. I kind of just like to leave them out so I can kind of admire them before they go to their new home. So that's where that one was chilling. So then in this corner of the room, I just had the jacket kind of hanging up there. So this is the final piece that we need for our orders. Okay, so this is sort of like my sewing / shipping desk. It's just nice to have like a clean surface here that I can always make sure it's ready to pack my orders. I also keep a lot of my shipping supplies down in the drawers that are down here. So first things first, we need to figure out what packaging that we want to use. So I just grabbed this from my drawer, but I think I'm just going to use a standard envelope. Just because this order is kind of small, the envelope works and it can handle this kind of order. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the order in the envelope. In my orders, I also like to include this cute little kind of business card. My sister actually made me these for Christmas, and I think they're so cute, and they just make my orders look a lot more like professional and stuff. And then currently I'm also throwing in Lollipop as well. And I usually always write like a little note personalized to each order, so I'm gonna do that right now. Okay, so for the next order, I'm going to actually use this old Urban Outfitters bag. It's a little more sturdier and it's gonna be able to hold this big bulky jacket a lot easier than one of those little envelopes. My favorite part about these like Urban Outfitters bags is they already come with a thing to like reseal them because they're meant for like returns and everything, but it works perfectly for shipping other things too. So I'm basically just gonna repeat that process to pack this item. Okay, so now that we have both of our orders packed, I actually just like to leave them open just so you don't like forget what's inside, especially if you have a lot of packages, it can get confusing. But now what we're gonna do is create our shipping labels. So I like to go ahead and just open my Depop and my PayPal accounts just so I can like clearly see everything that I need to do. If you don't know, I have an entire video about shipping in Canada, so if you want a more in-depth look look on the different ways you could ship, definitely watch that video. But for this video, I'm just gonna quickly go through what I do when I ship my items. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is find the transaction on our PayPal. If this is a Depop order, we're gonna click on the transaction and then we're gonna click on ship. So then I'm just gonna scroll down and click on PayPal shipping, and this is basically where we're going to input all of our weight and dimensions of the package. Okay, so I have my little scale right here so that we can weigh our first package. This is just like a normal food scale from like a grocery store. I would recommend though, if you are gonna get a scale, get one with like a bit of a bigger base, because sometimes the package is so big it like covers the screen, so it's like really hard to tell what the weight is. But basically I'm just gonna turn it on here and we're gonna take our first package, which had the bucket hat and the pin, and we're just gonna put it on the scale. So it says it's 142 grams, so I'm just gonna go ahead and type in 142 grams into PayPal. So next we need to measure the length, width, and height. So I just have this measuring tape here and we're gonna go ahead and measure everything. It doesn't really matter, but the length is always gonna be the longest part of your package. So for this one, it's about 33 centimeters. And then the width is about 26 centimeters. And then for the height, sometimes your package can be thicker in different areas, but you need to make sure that you're always measuring the thickest part of the package. That's why when you're folding, you want to make sure to make it as flat as possible. So for this package, I'd say it's about 2 centimeters. If you're ever worried about putting in the wrong dimensions, don't worry too much, because the worst they can do is just charge you extra later on if you did measure too small. That did happen to me once, where I got an email saying I underpaid for my package. I measured it wrong, I guess, so I had to pay like an extra 80 cents or something. So not a big deal. So now that we have all our weight and dimensions inputted, we can go ahead and click calculate shipping cost. And this particular package is going out to Calgary, so it is going to cost us $16.50. So I'm going to go ahead and click confirm and pay. And then all you need to do is just go ahead and print your shipping label. So now I'm just basically going to go ahead and do the exact same thing for the next order. So this was what I was talking about when I said like get a larger scale, because I have to like center it on the scale, which ends up covering the screen, makes it really hard to read. Another question that I get asked a lot is how to ship international orders. And the process is pretty much exactly the same. You're going to input your weight and your dimensions. This package is actually going to Texas. So the only difference is that before you calculate the shipping cost, it's going to prompt you to fill in a little bit more information. So it's going to want the customer's phone number. Not everyone provides their phone number on Depop, and some people aren't really like comfortable with that, so if they didn't, I just put my own phone number in. It's not a big deal. For US orders, I always make sure to select tracked packet USA, just to make sure that your order is going to be tracked, especially when it's going overseas. You don't want it to get lost. And then the one other thing that is going to be different for an international order is that you're going to have to add a customs form. So you'll see right at the bottom here, it'll say please add customs information. You just want to select the package information. So in this case, this is a commercial sample. And then it wants you to provide a description and the value and weight of each item that is in the order. So we're just going to go ahead for this one and say denim jacket. The value, not including the shipping value, is $70. And then the weight is the same as what we weighed it as. And then it also is asking you to put in the country of origin. So obviously we're just going to put in Canada or wherever you're from. And then I'm not entirely sure what the HS code is, but you don't have to worry about that. Oh, you also have to put in the province, so Ontario, and quantity. So then you can just scroll to the bottom and click Save Customs Information. And then I can go ahead and just click Confirm and Pay. So that is how I create my shipping labels for Depop. If you're shipping for Poshmark, it's way easier. Literally all you have to do is go to your email, download the shipping label that they have sent to you, and all you have to do is print it and you're good to go. You don't have to weigh anything, you don't have to measure anything. So you basically can skip this whole step that we just did. So I'm just gonna go and grab those shipping labels that I just created and printed. Okay, so I have my 2 labels here. They're just printed out on regular printing paper. On one side we have the receipt, on the other side we have the actual label. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this page in half so we can hold on to the receipt. Okay, so now that we have our labels ready, we just want to double check and make sure they're going on the right packages. You don't want to put the wrong one on the wrong order, obviously. So I always just quickly reference my Depop once more and make sure that the correct label is on the correct package. So this one is going to Isabel and this one is going to Keegan. All good. So at this point, what you could do is just take some like packing tape and tape your label down to the package. Just make sure you don't cover the barcode. But if you have a Canada Post small business account, you can actually get these adhesive sleeves for free, completely for free. I talk about that in my tips for selling on Depop video if you wanted to check that out. So I'm gonna use these to attach the label to the package. First thing though, I'm actually gonna quickly seal up the package. So before I actually go to ship my items, I like to do my accounting. So this is where I keep track of all of my money coming in and all of the expenses and everything in order to find out how much money I actually made off of each item. So the way that I do it is basically I have this Google Docs Excel spreadsheet where I input all of the information. And I have my spreadsheet set up so it automatically adds and subtracts in order to calculate the net profit. So first I'm just going to go ahead and type in the description. So this was the cloud patchwork bucket hat. There was 1 in stock. The customer, I just like to put their name and where they're from, their province where they're from. This just helps me estimate shipping costs in the future. Then I like to put the tracking number just in case I need to reference it later for whatever reason. So if you're wondering, the tracking number is on the receipt and it's also on the actual shipping label directly underneath the barcode. Then I put the date sold. So it sold on February 5th, 2021. Date shipped, so that's today, February 8th. So for type of mail and weight, I'm just gonna put parcel. The estimated weight is always on the shipping label as well. It's not accurate. I think Canada Post organizes them into different like weight ranges, so it kind of gives you like the maximum of that weight range, if that makes sense. So here at the bottom you can see it's 350 kilograms. I'm just gonna put that right here. Then for unit price, $40. Because it was a bundle, it was free shipping. So then for the Depop and PayPal fee, it can get kind of confusing to keep track of. So on Depop under receipts, it always says the fee right here, $4.50. But in order to find the PayPal fee, you actually have to go into the PayPal transaction. So right here, you'll see the PayPal transaction fee, which was $1.61. So we're just gonna add $4.50 plus $1.61 in order to come up with our total fees, which is $6.11. For actual shipping costs, obviously it's going to be on the receipt, so it cost me $16.50 to ship. And because this hat was handmade, it did not cost me anything, so for the item fee, we're going to put 0. So because this was a bundle, I'm going to add the next item directly underneath. And where it's repetitive, I just like to put 2 little like commas to signify that it is the same, so I don't have to type everything twice. So on this particular bundle, I ended up making $22.39. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do the same thing for the second order. So for this jacket, I did actually pay for both the jacket and the pillow that I used to create it. Both of those items cost me $23.70, so I have to deduct that from my profits. So in the end, for this jacket, I ended up making $32.90. So once everything is inputted into my Excel spreadsheet, I'm gonna go ahead and mark each of the orders as shipped. So I'm gonna copy the tracking numbers and put it into Depop. So we're just gonna go to the order here, click mark as shipped, select your shipping provider. So we're shipping with Canada Post, and then we're just gonna input the tracking number right here. And then for this international order, technically we are shipping with Canada Post, but Canada Post has partnered with USPS to complete the shipment. So for this one, I'm actually going to put USPS instead of Canada Post. I also just wanted to mention too that if you don't want to create a whole Excel spreadsheet from scratch, you don't have to. You can actually go to Depop and log into your account, click download sales, where you can then select between which months you want to download from. Poshmark has this exact same feature as well. You just have to log into your account, go to the sales section, I believe, and click download sales. This way they already have a lot of this information filled out for you, so it saves you a lot of work. The only problem is they don't include certain information like the PayPal fees and such, so you could totally use this as a basis and then just add the categories that you need to. But this would definitely be a lot easier, especially if you just wanted to do all your accounting at the end of the month instead of every time you ship like I do. And then lastly, I do have these 2 receipts that were printed out along with the shipping labels. So I just organized them in one of these file folders. These are separated by month, but basically in here I keep all of my receipts. So all of my shipping receipts, all of my business expenses. So like when I go to Dollarama and I buy more of those envelopes, for example, everything is in here, which is very important when you're doing your taxes. So now all that's left to do is actually ship these packages. I could go to the post office, but because I already did all the shipping myself, I don't have to. So we are going to go to the closest Canada Post box to drop off our packages. Okay guys, so super easy. All I'm doing is going to just put them into the box. And we're done. Okay guys, so that is basically my entire shipping packaging process. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that it was useful for you and that it gave you a little bit more of like an in-depth look at how I ship my items. As always, if you have any questions, just comment them below. I'm always happy to answer any shipping questions. But first, I would encourage you to watch my video about shipping. There's a lot of really good information there and you can probably find a lot of answers there. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you next week.